Good morning, friends and neighbors. Old Doc here, and cornbread. I have to apologize to you. I didn't put on the first video part 1 in the title. When I was editing and everything, I kept thinking I can't forget. Well, I forgot. So here's part 2. And hopefully we can run through this quick enough. This will be the end and there won't be a part 3. So we're going to try to hustle through. See that soapstone mark right there? Right even with that angle. I'm going to drill probably about a 5/8 hole there. And take one of these pins, stick it through the hole, and weld that nut to the upright. That's the plan there. We got some, I think it's 1/2 inch or close to 1/2 inch by 3 flat stock from Dad. And I believe that's what we're going to use for our vertical braces between the angles. So it's got to take some cleaning up. I got some pipe to cut off of there. It was a bridge, one of the bridge supports under a gooseneck trailer that he had, and he had that put on to stiffen it, but when he sold the trailer he cut it off. So anyway, there's that. I turned the M around, and naturally, you see all the wetness. As soon as I started up and started raising the loader up to turn it around, I blew a hydraulic hose. That made a damn mess, and shot over, got on the side of the lean-to there and all across the front of the Bobcat. So that's going to be a nice mess to clean up. But anyway, that's where we're at here, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for a top link. That right there. That's going to be my top link. I'm going to cut the ends off, and I may cut the welds on those plates and reuse those plates, slide them in, so I got a little more weld on the uprights. But this is what I'm going to use for a top link, I think. So I'm not sure yet. I'm still on the fence, but that's what we're leaning towards. That came off of a 92 Ford that I had. So we'll bring it back in a minute. I'm going to drill some holes. Well, friends and neighbors, we got our holes drilled. And I took the grinder and went around to get the rust and the paint off, just because I'm not near the welder I used to be, number 1. And number 2, I don't keep my welding rods in a hot box and all that crap. They're pretty white and crappy because of moisture. I don't do enough welding anymore to warrant a hot box or anything to keep them in. And we're not making the Taj Mahal here either. We're just making a scrap iron pallet fork deal to go on the back of the M and hook onto the Bobcat. Speaking of the Bobcat, the plates at the bottom that a quick attach the pin drops through, we're going to use that. We're going to cut them ears off, probably cut the ears off, and cut that flat piece out. That was the ends of that hitch that we're going to use for a top link. Those were the ends that bolted to the frame. So anyway, I'm going to tack that pin in there, and then we'll bring you back. Well, I screwed this one up. Uh, it looks like Ray Charles welded that. I don't know why I didn't screw that all the way in before I started welding, but it messed up the threads on it. But it is got a full nut and then some inside. If it breaks off, then I'll re-weld it. This side I screwed it all the way in before I welded it. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully the sun ain't screwed you up too bad on that. But I'll bring you back here in a little bit. Well, now you can kind of see what we got going on. Yeah, it's crooked because my chain, I have it sloped from when I had the blade on there. So my chain is longer on this side than this side. I do have like the turnbuckle things to go on there, but I don't like to use it when I'm moving snow because it gouges down. The front of the tractor comes up a little bit sometimes because our driveway, everybody's driveway around here, gravel driveway, they're not perfectly level, you know, like concrete. So what happens is with those turnbuckle deals on there, when the front of the tractor comes up, then the blade gouges into the rock and the dirt and everything, and then you got dirt and rock mixed in. Okay, so anyway, it's sitting crooked, it's tilted like this, but it's because that chain that I have in, when I put chains in there, then the blade kind of floats. It works a lot better. If I was scraping dirt or trying to grade rock or something, then I put the turnbuckles back on. But that's why it is leaning. So maybe you guys can kind of grasp what I got going on here now. Yeah, that top link chain deal, that's just temporary. I showed you what I'm going to use for a top link. I'm going to do some measuring here and cut this, I believe it's 1/2 inch by 3 inch flat stock for my vertical pieces. I'm going to cut a couple of them out. You guys don't need to watch that. I mean, you already seen me use the plasma cutter, so I'm going to measure what I got there, measure this out, and I'll bring you back then. Well, I just kind of wanted to show you guys how well this plasma was cutting. The first cut, it was pretty rusty and jagged from where they torched it out, and that was kind of rough, but maybe you can see how it's doing. A little plasma cutter. It's not doing too bad of a job. It's I don't know, it'd really struggle, I think, if it was anything thicker than that. But I don't know what I was thinking. This was the end piece, and it was cut pretty jagged and stuff, and for some reason I was thinking I had to notch that for, oh, that's a little bit warm yet, for this to go by, but I don't think I do. So I may pull that one out and or just flip it around, this one here. I may just flip it around and weld it in there, and I don't know. I got enough there just to knock it out and make a new one. But here's another one in there. I think I'm going to cut one more. Well, I got one cut already. I'm going to take that one, clean it up a little bit with the grinder, knock that one out, throw that one over here in the scrap, and I'm going to take the stinking Lincoln Tombstone and just tack these in and hang these forks on there and make sure I got my spacings and all that right. And yeah, I'm just going to hang the forks on the ends there and see what happens. I'll bring you back when I do that. We have found issue number one. This side here isn't bad. This side over here, I had to really do some finagling and take baby Bertha there and hammer it on. I got this side too tight. So I think what I'll do is try to beat that fork over more to where it's in line with our upright. Cut those tacks. Whoops. Cut these tacks that I got down there. I just have 3 of them. I'm surprised they held. Apparently my welding's better than I thought. But anyway, cut those tacks and bring this bottom piece up, just this bottom angle. Bring it up just a skosh, so I got a little more slack to where that fork will move. So I'm going to take a little break here and before I do that. Alrighty then, that made a heck of a difference. I cut that bottom angle loose and slid it up like a 1/4 of an inch. So now there is 10 inches between that angle and that angle on each end, and it made the world of a difference, as you can imagine. But it still catches, so the forks theoretically can't flip up. And after I get my cross pieces, which there's 2 of them laying right there. Well, there's one and the other one's there. One of them is scrap. Remember, I cut the corner out. But when I get, I think I'm going to weld probably 5 of them in there. I think 5 should be enough. I want to see just exactly how thick that is, if that's actual 1/2 inch or, yeah, it is. It's, maybe you guys can't see, it's 1/2 inch. But I think 5 of them, I'll have one just on the inside, not clear out at the end. One in there, one there, one in the center, there again, and then out there. I think that'd be enough to keep those angles from twisting and what have you. And that, I just got everything is just still tacked. I'm not welding anything solid until I get my top link thing put in there. So everything will be fairly straight, being I don't have any concrete around here to, you know, it's level or anything like that. So yeah, and you can see I'm still at an angle because that chain right there is longer than what I have this side. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for right now. Yeah, I still have to, like I said, I'm going to use this for my top link, and I got to cut those ends off so it'll fit in between there. I'm still on the fence about cutting those plates off and then sliding those in just so I have something a little bit wider. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's get back to monkey business. Well, friends and neighbors, we're getting there. I shortened the chain up on this side so it's sitting a little bit more level. I don't have the same type of chains on there, so the links are a little bit different. So it's actually tilted that way a little bit now, but whatever. We got our cross braces tacked in. I got this end one here. It's a little bit crooked, but that don't make any difference. Hey, taters. Here comes cornbread. Were you over at old grandma's? Huh? Were you helping her? Matthew's over there too, isn't he? So anyway, I got those. They're just tacked in for now. I'm going to let it back down and figure out my deal for my top link and cut it to fit and get it tacked in. Once I get it tacked in, I'm going to pull the forks off so I can roll it around and weld a little bit better in there. So that's where we're at. Well, friends and neighbors, that's pretty much it. Nothing is welded solid yet. Everything is just kind of tacked into place. I'm not going to go through the whole process of welding the whole thing because it's going to take a long time. Everything's just kind of tacked up for a trial deal. You didn't miss out anything. I spent most of the time extending my hoses, and I'll show you that in a minute. This was part of hopefully you can see that better than what I can see it through the camera. This was the end of an old hydraulic cylinder. I just took the plasma cutter and cut it off, welded it on there, and not really welded, it's just kind of stitch welded. And so everything is fairly complete except for the welding everything up solid, but we're ready to do we're in the testing stages now, but there's how my lines go and up there. And this used to run my grapples, but we don't have the grapples anymore because we don't have to worry about round bales, and the grapples, they were broken, welded so many times that they were just junk. But my hoses are plenty long now. I went to Fleet Farm, bought a new replacement hose for the bucket. So let's fire it up and see what we got. We're probably pretty low on hydraulic fluid, what with blowing that hose out and having all these lines and everything apart. But we'll give her a try here. I'm going to put you guys back here on the shed door. You're going to move a little bit because the wind's buffeting the building. Ed, Wade, you guys kind of fan out a little bit. Let some of them new guys in here to see what we got going on there. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do some revamping because that cylinder is at the end right there. I thought it went all the way in. So now that I know that, I guess what I'll probably end up doing is cutting this loose and welding it up on top, and then that'll give me a little bit more distance there. I'm not going to do that this weekend. This is going to be the end of this video. It's gone way too long already. So with that, friends and neighbors, go dig through your scrap pile. You can build stuff like this, you know. And what it cost me, I went up and well, the hydraulic hose, I got a leak over there in my new fittings. I have to tape it or dope it. I blew that hydraulic hose out, which could have happened this winter, you know, if I was moving snow. That was, I don't know, 14, 16 bucks. But I bought the two 90-degree street elbows. They were $1 something each, and that 8 or 10 inch nipple that goes in between them. Other than that, I didn't buy anything else for this project. So go dig through your scrap pile, save yourself a little bit of cash. And put something together. Heck, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So with that, Mom's over here, cornbread's up there, Penny's up on the deck. It's like Mom's got some tomatoes from her garden. Penny can enjoy those. Do something kind for yourself, a friend, a stranger, or a loved one. And we'll give you one last gander here. With that, happy trails.